What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Battle of Central Europe. This is going to be a very delayed, by about a complete hour, game between Lions and Commanda Minus here on HeflaTV Hitbox 1. We're actually going to be following Commanda Minus through all of their games. I don't know if that was intentional or what, but that's just the way it is going to be. So they just came off of a 2-0 after a convincing stomp of Album Sheet, which is not something I will get to say all that often since Album Sheet are a pretty good team. But Album Sheet were tilted as all hell. So Commanda Minus off of that one. And Lions just finished playing like 100 minutes worth of Dota against House of Gamers, where they ended up going 1-1. So Commanda Minus had about like a 50-minute to an hour break to just do, whatever, get food or something. I don't know. But, they had a break, and Lions are, I guess, warmed up, but at the same time, probably a little bit tired. And they're going to pick up an Ogre Magi Jakiro. So even if they are a little bit tired, then maybe they just want to end their games really quickly and then just take a break, because these are definitely heroes that are capable of doing that. Ogre Magi and the Jakiro, I mean, they could, first of all, go very aggressive towards the enemies, go Fire Blast them into an Ice Path. Not the best setup combination, but it's functional enough. And then later on, you get Liquid Fire, you get to push down towers. It's a whole bunch of good stuff going there for Lions, and they are very aggressively slanted. For Commanda Minus, they're going to take the puck, as they have been taking him very highly. They've been played, the puck has been played on two heroes, I believe, from two players rather from Commanda, with Hawkeye and Kikoni. So they do have quite a few players that are capable of playing the puck, which is understandable. It's a difficult hero to play for sure, but it's one of those heroes that needs to be in your repertoire. Similar to the Razor, with the puck, it is not really slanted to any direction for Commanda. They can play aggressive, they can play very defensive. It's really up to them, and we will see what they actually want. Gain description or too long, cover the cast. That's fine, Invisible Blue. That is fine. It's fine. Okay. We have bans out, though, as Lions are going to take the Faceless Void after kicking out the Doom Silencer, so they are going to go for a little bit of team fight. And then Commanda going to take out the very late Death Prophet, Slark getting the boot as well, and then going to snag up the Vengeful Spirit. So, we have a pretty standard balanced comp for Commanda Minus, whereas for Lions, well, they have a lot of damage to put into the Chronosphere. First of all, just with Macropyre in of itself is a decent combination. They will have to worry about the Vengeful Spirit swapping out the target from the Chronosphere, which normally gets the Vengeful Spirit killed, but it will be decent enough. And now Queen of Pain for Lions, they are going all in into this Chronosphere plan, and they are still keeping themselves pretty aggressive. I mean, Faceless Void isn't the most aggressive core position hero. As far as one-roll heroes go, you could pick up a lot more aggressive in a Luna or a Gyrocopter, heroes that could, buff up your team and at the same time push towers early on. But Faceless Void is pretty decent, and for Lions, I wouldn't really expect them to go too deep into the into the aggression, as they generally do like to play it a little bit slower. But this is one of the more aggressively slanted lineups I've seen from Lions. And I do think that it will service them pretty well in this particular game. I mean, up against Commanda Minus, the burst damage of Queen of Pain is going to be very useful. And when you combine that with Ogre Magi Jakiro, if they want to pick up a Skywrath Mage last, that would be a huge pickup for them. It is not currently banned out in Commanda Minus. Honestly, it would be a very large mistake to let Lions get it, whether it involves not picking up the hero right now for Commanda or not banning it. It can be disastrous. First of all, I mean, you get the Skywrath Mage Ogre Magi combo, which is great. I mean, multicast, pain all day. You do get most likely a core Jakiro, so you'll be able to play very aggressively off of that Liquid Fire. You'll very often be in the enemy side of the map. You have a setup for your Mystic Flare with a Chronosphere. You'll be able to amplify the Queen of Pain's damage. Is there anything else that could possibly be going right for a Skywrath Mage pick for Lions? It seems like that is pretty much as good as it gets. Having problems with the stream. It looks like it's fine for me. I'm dropping no frames, guys, so if you're having problems, it's most likely on your end. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? It's the best sort of IT support I can offer. But Skywrath Mage for Lions should be the order of business, as I don't think Jakiro is going to be played as a support, though it can be. It probably isn't going to. Commanda, well, they're going to pick up another Templar Assassin, and I think this is maybe... no, never mind. I was like, oh, this does kind of look like a Jar Ranger lineup. Maybe if Templar Assassin was Jar Ranger, that would be the case. But no, not. It's a little bit too late for that. They need another support hero, and then they're going to be fine. They do have a minor minus armor strategy going on right now with the Eye of the Storm, Vengeful Spirit, Templar Assassin. I don't think they're going to go too deep into that, though, as they just do need one more support. And the minus armor supports are a little bit more limited than the minus armor cores, which is, perfectly acceptable. You don't have to go too deep into the strategy, as Lions don't really have that much armor. Lions are going to ban out the Skywrath. Wow, okay. Clearly they have a different plan. I thought Skywrath Mage would have been perfect for Lions, but no, instead they just don't want to play up against it. Maybe they have a different support hero in mind. I mean, they have their lane matchups for the most part already read. You have Templar Assassin, Puck, Razor, with Razor most likely going... with Puck most likely getting a solo lane, Razor most likely going in a tri-lane, if not dual lanes, and then Templar Assassin will go into a solo lane as well. You could usually read that as Queen of Pain will be sent mid from Lions, and then Faceless Void, Ogre Magi, or Jakiro Ogre Magi, depending on how aggressive they want to be. Again, it is going to depend a lot on their final selection for Lions, but for Commander they have quite a bit of lane flexibility in that all three of their cores are usually heroes that do end up soloing lanes, so they do have a lot of lane control. They will be fine for the most part just by themselves if they get put into a lane, and that means that Vengeful Spirit and whatever other support Commander can pick up are free to roam around very heavily. Like, when you do pick up super self-sufficient laners, then everyone else is going to be fine, then your supports are going to be fine to play very aggressively everywhere else, and having nomadic supports sometimes could fall flat on its face, and sometimes it will be the most amazing thing in the world. Really, it's a little bit of a coin flip there. So it will be a little bit difficult for Commander Minus to actually get that down, but if they do get it down, then it's going to be great for them. They need a little bit more disable, I think. Having the silence on Puck is huge with the Vengeful Spirit stun. It's all very nice, but they're up against a Faceless Void and a Queen of Pain. There is a lot of mobility here from Lions, and it will be hard for Commander Minus to lock them down. Bursting the heroes down is possible within the duration of that one silence or the magic missile or something like that, but why rely purely on burst when you can rely on burst and crowd control? It's the best of both worlds. Lions, they need their last pick. It's most likely going to be a core Jakiro, as I said before, and if they're playing aggressively, that's fine. I just think if you're going to pick up a Jakiro so early, then you kind of have to be playing him as core, because if you pick up a hero that's early, it has to be like one of the centerpieces of your lineup, or it should be. And otherwise, Jakiro's support, I mean, it is going to not happen this game, and it is going to be a core Jakiro. Shadow Demon as the last pick. I mean, it's, I suppose, decent at saving whoever's going to be targeted down by Templar Assassin damage, and as far as setting up for Jakiro, it's fine, but Commander, they are going to go for, once again, the support Elder Titan. I mean, it worked for them the last game, I suppose. Or not the last game, game number 1 in their last series. So it was a pretty decently effective hero. It was played as a dual lane hero. The dual lane was Puck Elder Titan, which is, it's not the best. It can very easily get shut down. And it was actually up against the Faceless Void lane, so that might be happening again. If Lions do put Jonas and Fan up towards the top lane just by himself, he'll be running into unhappy times. Razor might be there, Templar Assassin might be there. Either way, the Jakiro isn't really going to be having a great time in that regard, but Puck Elder Titan, I mean, it could do certainly a lot of magic damage. Elder Titan as support, most likely you get boots first, and then you just rely on the spirit damage in order to beat things down, and you could put on some serious damage to certain heroes, but at the same time, sometimes you are just going to fall a little bit short and really get nothing done, and then at that point, you're just a melee hero, and melee support hero at that, which tend to be a little bit weaker. Or which tend to be a little bit less effective, rather. They're still pretty strong, but you need certain situations to make them strong. But either way, we are in the game, guys. We got Pure Evil, who's going to be playing on the Commander side as the Elder Titan. He's going to be joined by Hawkeye. Look at that. I am correct in dual lanes. Mid lane is going to be Kokoni on the Templar Assassin with Poison up towards top as Vengeful Spirit for the 3rd time in a row, Insolent. And he's going to be playing the Razor. On the Lion side, we have Bland playing the Ogre Magi. Jonas and Fan is going to be playing with that Ogre as the Jakiro, already with 2 rings of protection. This dude is going to be armored up for days. Maybe expecting an Elder Titan, but that is certainly not going to happen. They're going to poke a little bit up top, but it's not going to happen. Ira on the bottom lane is going to be playing the Faceless Void, supported by Solin's Shadow Demon. That leaves towards the mid lane Kicks or Quicks. Grandis calls it Kicks. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I'm going to call it whatever I want, because I can. And that's what's going to happen right now. Hawkeye and Pure Evil both going to chase after Ira. They're going to put a little bit of damage onto Ira, though Ira does have 8 tangos, so he has all the regeneration in the world. He's actually going to turn and fight. This is a brawl that I think favors Commander slightly if they do end up fully committing to this one, but just a little bit of poke damage here and there. Illusion's doing some damage, and Ira does have 8 tangos, so it's a huge amount of regeneration for him. And oh no, poison. He got caught with a regen Jakiro. Ignite from long range with a dual breath. I don't think it's quite going to be enough to kill off this Vengeful Spirit, but sure as hell gonna make poison really hurt later down the line. Although they have another dual breath soon. This could be first blood if Josephine wants to dive the tower. Oh, he's not gonna do it. That was actually very restrained by Jakiro, not taking any risks in the middle lane. All he needed was another second for another dual breath and one more attack. That would have gotten a kill. Like 100% for sure. And he decided not to go for it. Poison is going to thank his lucky stars that he gets to live. Now he's going to put a little bit of pressure back onto the Queen of Pain over in the mid lane. Kikoni, I mean, he played a very capable Templar Assassin in the last series versus Album Sheep. But in this matchup, Templar Assassin is not really going to have a great time. You can meld dodge the Shadow Strikes, I believe, unless they change that, which is certainly very nice for the Templar Assassin as far as potentially being able to survive. But once the Shadow Strikes land, then your Refraction defensive shell isn't going to be lasting very long. Granted, that's probably going to happen regardless of whether or not she's in the mid lane, up against the Queen of Pain, or up on the top lane versus the Jakiro. Either way, her Refraction charges aren't really going to stand. So I expect the Queen of Pain to very slowly start to pull ahead. Although if Templar Assassin gets a quick set of phase boots, then she can remain in the lane and just use her overwhelming damage in order to secure the lane for herself. Bottom lane is going to end up just being 2v2 lanes. That's actually 2v2 lanes across the board. And the Shadow Demon Faceless Void lane is extremely defensive. The goal of this lane is not to get kills. They actually probably can't get kills outside of very lucky bashes. They just want to keep themselves safe, make sure the Faceless Void doesn't die, which is going to be possible. But on the other end, Elder Titan Puck, it will be a little bit difficult for them to get kills as well. Though they do have just vast, overwhelming magic damage, so getting kills in that regard is certainly very possible for Commanda. It is going to be difficult because you have to go for Shadow Demon, and then he always has a disruption for himself. So actually getting the kill is going to be difficult. Putting damage on the enemies is going to be very easy, but putting damage on them isn't really going to count for that much. All that being said, up towards top, we do have a lot more kill potential. Jonas and Fan, joined by Blan. Just the two of them is going to be able to put a lot of dots onto the Commanda side, and Poison is not exactly the most durable hero in the game. Insolent will be able to survive that. He has only 2 tangos left, though, and Vengeful Spirit is completely out of regen. So this regeneration situation not looking too good for Commanda, whereas for Lions, they still have a salve on the Ogre Magi, plus a couple of tangos. So the regeneration situation, for Lions is looking pretty good. Kind of to be expected with Ignite and Fire Blast and Liquid Fire. Your harassment is going to be really high, and Liquid Fire right now onto Insolent. There's a Magic Missile available for Poison. We'll throw it onto Jonas the Fan, doing quite a bit of damage, but Insolent's not actually attacking because of that Liquid Fire. Attack speed's so slow, and though he does get punished a little bit, he still pushes the enemies back. Again, that doesn't really accomplish anything, but I guess it's nice to flex your muscles just a little bit. Regardless, Jonas the Fan and Blan are capable of killing this Commando lane just as much as Commanda are able to kill off Jonas Fan and Blan, but these are very tanky heroes. They're both intelligence for sure, but they are 2 of the more tanky intelligence heroes. I don't want to say they're the most tanky intelligence heroes. Ogre Magi is. I don't know about Jakiro. It seems like he is as well. Although Batrider from level 1 is going to give Jakiro a run for his money. I think Jakiro and Ogre Magi might actually be the tankiest duo of intelligence heroes that you could have. So, or maybe Darkseer. Darkseer's an hero. I don't know. That's why that's why I don't want to say those definitive things, guys. Kix. Oh my god, Kix is in so much trouble right now. Spill damage, one more. Oh my god, Kikoni. That was so close. Just the spill damage alone. That type of kill is hard, if not impossible to get. Or it's not impossible, but hell, it is damn difficult to get a kill off of spill damage. Outside of like late game scenarios when you're hitting for 300 a pop, and you're bound to take some people down with you, but man, getting a kill on the Queen of Pain that early on will be huge for Kikoni. Not only is it, again, not the best matchup for the Templar Assassin and the harassment that she's going to take, but just First Blood Gold in general. She is doing pretty well, all things considered. The Kix Queen of Pain isn't really doing that great right now versus Kikoni, and as Templar Assassin just has so much base damage with that refraction. Even though she doesn't have defensive refraction charges, she still has the offensive ones, and hitting for 120 a pop this early on is going to be huge, especially when you spill a lot of that damage over to the Queen of Pain. And if you spill like 4 or 5 hits over, man, Queen of Pain is going to be dead in a hurry. So I'm going to not be surprised in the fact that we do have a very passive early start. As far as who's going to be really pulling the trigger first, for Lions, it's going to either be started with a good rune and a rotation from the Queen of Pain, a push, probably not a push, or a Chronosphere from Ira. those are the two real triggers for Lions to start going off, whereas for Commanda, I mean, they would like a Blink Dagger on Hawkeye, but that's really not a feasible item within the next coming minutes, unless he just gets a double kill or something like that. That could be possible, I suppose, but it will be very difficult for him to accrue another, 1,200 gold, 1,400 gold on top of what he already has. Though he does have phase boots, and he'll be able to poke the lane pretty well. Farming that much gold is difficult, as any hero, let alone a puck. So for Commanda, really, their trigger is not quite there. I mean, they will always try to play aggressively in their lanes, as they do have some potentially very powerful kill lanes, like over in the mid lane. Like, getting a kill on the Queen of Pain, probably not going to happen, but forcing her back into bad situations, certainly going to happen quite a bit, as Kokoni literally just did, just as I said that. Either way, 0-0, and we're going to wait for one of these lanes to make a play. Again, Lions have a larger jump of power, especially once they get their Chronosphere. Commanda don't have that. Coil is nice. I mean, it's a good skill for sure. Being able to keep your opponents in a nice, bundled up, securable package is going to be very useful for the puck. But getting kills on a Faceless Void or a Shadow Demon with that, it's probably impossible, just because whoever you try to focus is going to get disrupted, and then you're wasting all your time, and then things aren't really that fun. I expect the top lane to happen. I'm going to just make a blind guess right now. Top lane, Poison. Maybe it's a safe pick just because it's a Vengeful Spirit. And Vengeful Spirits usually die a lot. But it seems like Poison is going to just be that one, as he's trying to play a little bit aggressively. This is walking into level 3 Liquid Fire and Bland, though an Ogre Magi only level 2 can still put out a lot of damage just because he's so tanky. That doesn't make much sense, but I mean, he just will be able to survive for so long and hit you so many times because of that tankiness, his amount of health, his armor. Then you can't really get much done. Mid lane, oh, Kokoni thinking about going for kicks, needs one more spill hit. It's not going to happen. Turning around for the Sonic Wave, it's got canceled. And Queen of Pain is going to survive, but Kokoni definitely running this lane. I definitely got to say, I'm very impressed by Kokoni's play, not only just in this game as Templar Assassin, finding these openings onto kicks, but also in the last set. I mean, he's been playing very well for Commander right now. So, Kokoni doing pretty good over on the mid lane. Top lane, we have initiation onto Insolent. The damage is going to be returned, though. Lots onto Jonas and Fan. Lots of damage stolen. 56 from the Razor. He's going to get ignited, but the neutral creep is going to get the kill. That's going to mean that Poison might still be the first blood, as predicted previously, but Bland doesn't have that much mana. In fact, he doesn't have enough mana to cast anything. Poison's going to get hit with the Dual Breath, but he gets the Ice Path dodged, and that's going to be 0 kills going either way for anyone. This guy, this one guy, just denied Lions first blood, which kind of sucks. They don't really get anything. Although Razor does lose a little bit of gold, it's certainly better than the alternative. Rotation up now from Kokoni. I mean, it is possible for the Templar Assassin to help out here, though very unlikely. Ira on the bottom lane is in quite a bit more trouble. Hawkeye going to lay into him with those phase boots. However, I think he got like 2 backtracks in a row, so he's going to keep himself safe. Insolent in the meantime going to go for Jonas and Fan. Warm Plasma Field not going to kill him off. 10 HP. The Howl of Terror from downtown. Poison gets first blood. That's what I meant, guys. That's exactly what I meant. I didn't say he was going to give first blood. I said he was going to get first blood. You heard me correctly. So first blood, drawn by the Vengeful Spirits wave, that does 50 damage, but from that much distance at a 10 HP hero, yeah, that'll do it. That'll just about do it. Poison finally going to get first blood for the Commanda side. And, well, in the meantime, Kokoni dueling up against the Queen of Pain in a very delicate situation right now. Sonic Wave is available. If she could somehow block that with Fraction, suddenly Kix is in a shitty situation, but that's a difficult pill to swallow. He's going to settle for a double damage rune, and we'll just continue farming on. Kokomi's build in the last game that we saw him as Templar Assassin was Phase Drums, Phase Drums Yasha into Desolator Mantis style, I think that was it. And it looks like he's going to go for a very similar thing this game. I mean, there's really no reason not to. If you're going to be chasing down a Queen of Pain or a Faceless Void, you really need that additional movement speed. And holy crap, Quicks almost got like 2-shot by Kokoni. But we have a Faceless Void rotating in. This is not a gank that you really expect from Templar Assassin. She needs like 2 more hits to land onto Quicks. Oh, she's going to dive a little bit too far. Ira's suddenly here. Chronosphere onto Kokoni. They're going to quickly disable his Refraction Shell and then Sonic Wave him through. So there's a meld. And Scream of Pain. There it is. Scream of Pain does go through invisibility, or I guess that doesn't make much sense. It does hit things that are invisible, because fun fact, it's based off of Fan of Knives from the Warden skill in Warcraft 3, so if you're going to be throwing knives in an area, they'll probably be hitting invisible guys. Just mechanically, that is how it used to work, guys, and I know this because I know too many useless things about how Dota used to function, and that is something that I will proudly state. 2-1, or I guess 1-0 1-1 in favor, or 1-1 now for Lions. They get themselves on the board. Jonathan's going to get linked up with Insolent. Bland is here, but Poison's going to turn around with the stun. Hawkeye has a Blink Dagger, and now Bland in a huge amount of trouble. He has a Magic Stick, and he will get bailed out a little bit by the Ice Path as Puck actually jumps to the south, right into Kicks. However, Hawkeye in quite a bit of trouble. He will drop the coil, and might buy him enough time. He gets denied. Razor reading the Shadow Strike. He will get that one, and Templar Assassin rotating upwards for the Ogre Magi will get the kill. This freaking scoreboard is going to be so convoluted by the end of this game. It's technically, yes, a 2-for-1, but with one deny, it was actually a 1-for-1, as Elder Titan does go down in the bottom lane. Who got the kill there? Faces Void pretty much to chase him down by himself. I'm assuming Lucky Bashes were involved there. But either way, Lions, though it does say that they have 4 kills, they only have 2. So it's still 2-2. That's going to be really hard to keep track of, guys, moving forward. So at a certain point, I'm just going to forget about that. But for right now, it is just 2-2, as there's been a hero deny and a, I'm going to say it, neutral deny. Although I don't really know how accurate neutral deny is as a phrase. Ira on the bottom lane is still farming pretty well. 40 for 7, though he is behind Templar Assassin and Puck, and well, now behind the Razor. The farmers for Commando are certainly getting quite a bit off of this map, in Lions, though they do have the Jakiro, Queen of Pain, they're not really applying that much pressure. They've so far not really touched the Elder Titan support, and really Elder Titan as a support, the weakest portion of the game is the laning stage, because he's a melee support, which for all of them really have really bad early game. Once he gets a little bit of farm, once he gets levels, then he'll be able to do quite a bit. He has gone for 2 in the Echo Stomp. I'm not really too sure how much I agree with this. I think level 1 is just all you need. I don't think the extra second of sleep duration is really relevant for setting up his skills. It's going to help for an Earth Splitter, but he doesn't even have an Earth Splitter, so what's the point in that? I would like to see him get a little bit more aura, but just 1 level of aura for 40% value on base armor reduction is pretty damn high. That's going to be about 2 or 3 armor on average, I think, in this game. Actually, maybe just like 1 or 2. It's not that great, but it is perfectly serviceable, especially when you have the extra spirit to do the damage, or extra spirit damage in order to do damage through that armor that they do have. That was quite a mouthful. Top lane, who do you see? Bland on the hunt. Insolent's going to hit with the Fire Blast. Jump forward from the Queen of Pain. They're going to miss with the Ice Path, but Insolent is going to not get denied this time. He will get brought down by a Sonic Wave. Josephan, though, going to get 2-shot. But actually, no. Kokomi deciding to go instead for someone else. Doesn't actually get that target, but the Shikiro does go down in the end. And now Kixel. He's going to run straight into a Courier. Blinks up to the north. He doesn't have a TP. He doesn't have that much mana. This is a viable kill right now for the Commando side if they find this Queen of Pain. But Queen of Pain being very sneaky. Nobody tell the Commando side where he is. Looks like the Queen of Pain is going to survive. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but losing your Razor in exchange for Jakiro. And Jakiro's not really farming that well. I think that trade did benefit Lions, albeit slightly. I mean, this Jakiro is supposed to be pushing down towers right about now, but Lions clearly have not gotten that going just yet. They have 1 tower down in the mid lane, which is nice for sure, but it got denied, so not even the ideal amount of gold. They're going to set up for bottom lane. However, both teams are going to set for bottom lane. There is a Chronosphere and a Mask of Madness for the Faceless Void. With maxed out Time Lock, he will be able to do a crap ton of damage, but the person in trouble is going to be Stolen. He's going to run straight into Kokoni. There's a quick disruption for him, but Kokoni has a Sonic Trap if needed. He's just going to pop the Drum Charge and run away. Commando are actually rotating all 5 of their heroes down to this bottom lane, expecting a huge brawl. In the meantime, Quicks on the top lane is going to be the winner of this one. Going to go for an Aghanim Scepter, it looks like. I don't think that's going to be a Bloodstone, but the jump in from Ira is going to land a 1-man Chronos round Insolent. Less than ideal for sure. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. He gets coiled as well. They can put a lot of damage into this Razor, but not enough to actually get any kills. Insolent even gets swapped out for good measure. That's Chronosphere down for Lions, and they actually take more damage than they give out, as Faces Void really roughed up after that. Commando, though, they don't really have any ways of pushing this tower outside of just trying to take a fight and trying to dive. They have no real tower killing heroes until the Razor gets his Aghanims, which is a long ways away. They're unable to capitalize and actually break down some buildings, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's just the fault of their draft. They're really good at killing off heroes, taking team fights, but capitalizing after those team fights, that's going to be a little bit less realistic for them. Yet still, I think they're happy with keeping the status quo. I mean, Kikoni's still leading the way in CS by quite a large margin. This guy's TA is just getting out of control. He will have a Yasha very shortly. Has found himself like the 3rd double damage rune, or it seems like the 3rd double damage rune. I don't know how many he's actually gotten, but he's going to try to solo Roshan. I don't know how viable this is. He could use a little bit of help just with that. Yeah, there we go. Wave of Terror, additional minus armor. Kokoni is going to be able to tear this one down, and Lions on paper should be able to contest if they knew this was going on, but they don't have any vision in the area, and you don't really expect the enemy to be soloing Roshan. Although it seems like Lions do know about this anyway. They're going to rotate upwards. And they're going to spot the fact that Roshan was being attempted. But they don't know how many heroes. They don't know who was in there. They could expect those Templar Assassin. Meantime, they get a tower up on top, but the fight might be breaking out down here. Jakiro pushing is to be expected. I mean, he will be getting those towers destroyed. That's just a matter of time. But are Lions going to try to jack this, or are they just sitting in this area just trying to deny Roshan? I mean, it's nice to delay the Aegis on the enemy team, but you're wasting time with 3 heroes. Whereas for top lane, Puck is farming. Bottom lane, Poison's getting a couple of extra levels, which means more minus armor down the line. And just everyone else from Commander are getting more done while your team is doing nothing in this area. Sentry Ward being dropped for absolutely no dewarding. Unfortunate circumstances for Lions, but hell, at the very least, they do delay the Yasha of Kikoni. And without a double damage rune, I don't believe the Templar Assassin can solo Roshan. She can kill it off with her teammates for sure, but soloing it is certainly off the table now for Kikoni unless she gets lucky with the 16-minute rune spawn. Or 18-minute rune spawn, or any rune spawn, what have you. Anyway, Templar Assassin has now more or less her Race Guard build completed. Desolator for damage later on, and she's going to smoke up along with Hawkeye and look for a brawl down on bottom lane. They have a level 4 silence and a coil that's ready to be fired. Can they actually catch anyone? Ira is going to get silenced, coiled, and orbed. Here comes the Templar Assassin, but Ice Path is going to make it hard for them to engage. Now the Macropyre and the Chronosphere, that's going to be pucked down immediately with a 3-man Sonic Wave. Vengeful Spirit's very quickly going to take a fall as well. Kikoni dropping pretty low. His refraction charge is very quickly going to be burned through, and he will be sticked up. He has a pottle as well. He might actually live through all of this. I don't believe that. I can't believe the Templar Assassin just lived through that, but Pure Evil still in a little bit of trouble chasing forward, just a little bit too far. Bland has another Fire Blast available as well as an Ignite. Multicast is going to hit him twice. Now Quix is going to jump in for a very easy kill on the Elder Titan. Insolent getting slowed down by the Ignite as well. Chased forward by Quix. They're looking for another disable, but they really don't have much of anything to go off of this. Templar Assassin gets to survive, but it's still just a 3-0 in favor of Commanda. They're going to get another Fire Blast onto the Razor as Kikoni has just got to bail on out. It is spotted out by the Jakiro, but they can't punish this. Regardless, it's a massively won fight from Lions. That Chronosphere setup was pretty much as good as it is going to get. Chronosphere onto 3 with the Macropyre already on the floor, so you don't even have to wait for the Jakiro's million-year cast animation in order to get that one out. So Macropyre on the floor, drop a Chronosphere on everyone, Sonic Wave onto everyone as well. That's the Wombo combo that Lions are pretty much prepared to... That's what their draft is pretty much prepared for. And they can take the smaller skirmishes as well, and it will be fairly effective for them. But really, just dumping damage in the Chronosphere is where their draft excels. And we definitely saw it right there. If they could continue to land those, which is extremely, extremely unlikely, but possible, then they will very easily take this game. So really, Command have to make sure that their positioning is not like that. Otherwise, they will just continuously get jumped. Kikoni, by the way, is in quite a bit of trouble. He's going to get caught with the Ice Path. Jump in from Ira as well. And now the bashes start. There's a sentry on the floor, and Kikoni's not going to have a way to get out of this movement speed or not. There's no way of escaping that many heroes. And Lions take their 7th kill of the game, I believe. And that's on a very important one as well. The Templar Assassin rotation down to the bottom lane. Pure Evil hit with Fire Blast. Going to channel up that stomp. Will not get much done. Hicks is going to jump in, and the damage is going to be huge onto the Elder Titan. This Queen of Pain is really starting to get going. She's gone for a 4-staff, actually. The ultimate mobility build for Queen of Pain. I'm not sure if this is the build I would have gone for against a Puck. Maybe Orchid looking a little bit more attractive, and Templar Assassin as well. But hell, if you keep your allies safe, and if you can still get this much farm and this many kills after the fact, then sure, go for the 4-staff. It's a nice little intermediate item. It will be what looks like a tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade. Shadow Demon's going to take that one down as Poison and Hawkeye both looking for mid lane. It is deniable right now. Jonas and Fan got to watch out though. Magic Missile is going to land. Silence and Orbed. He is going to take quite a bit of damage. He will not snap the coil. He will throw out an Ice Path though. Going to land onto Poison. Now the tower damage will kill off Poison. And the Puck, he already blinked out. The Jakiro is going to survive, and the tower is going to survive as well. I don't think it's going to survive for very long because it probably will be denied, but still, it's a nice little win for Command as they do chase forward for Hawkeye. A Queen of Pain getting this kill, though, is very slim against the Puck. Regardless, Lions, they hold their tower. They will go deny it. They take a tower and a kill. Nothing but wins for them, especially if they get this Razor up on top lane. Ignite to already slow him down. The Fire Blast is going to want to be saved to cancel a TP, but Insolent, oh, there it is. They have a Fire Blast. There it is. Multicasted as well, just for good measure. Some real skill coming out from Bland this game. His multicasts have been on point. And look at this build from Ogre Magi. It is beautiful. I love it. Oh my god, guys. Ignite level 4, Fire Blast level 4. You know, you often see teams like maybe even hold Fire Blast at lower levels, get the Bloodlust a little bit earlier. I don't think this is one of those games. Bloodlust does get a lot better in the late game when your heroes are actually doing some damage. Hero's doing a decent amount of damage, but he's really the only one who will straight up benefit from the Bloodlust. You might as well go for Ignite, guys. It does a crap ton of damage, especially when you're talking about elusive heroes like Puck, who generally get a lot of distance between themselves and the enemies. If you somehow land an Ignite on him, then Blink Dagger is not going to be happening, plus it's for sure damage that's going to be going onto him, not to mention the fact that it will burn through the Templar Assassin shields in a hurry. So I think this build for Ogre Magi is definitely the correct one for this game, and also it's the most fun one to watch, because who doesn't love seeing everyone just burning in fire and flames? It's a glorious sight, especially if you're an Ogre Magi fan, which I happen to be. Ogre Magi is my boy, guys. I am so skilled with him. Multicasts like 80% of the time. No joke. Even when I'm level 5. Yep. Level 5 multicasts. It's happening. Anyway, Lions with a pretty nice lead in this game. Hawkeye in the bottom lane, pushing this one out. He does have a Blink Dagger and quite a ways away to get out of here. He will go deep into the trees and will be just fine, but Lions, they're pushing, really hasn't come together in a big way just yet. They still are working with Jakiro. Now that he has his Yule Scepter, he will have a way of initiating just for himself or keep himself safe. Against the Templar Assassin and Razor, Yule Scepter can be huge in securing his escape. And it looks like Lions, they're going to capitalize on this item choice by going for a push. It's the correct thing to do, I think. I mean, they have the Liquid Fire, so going for a push at any stage should be the order of business. Going before the Jakiro starts to really fall off is obviously ideal. And Commanda, they have a Blink Dagger on Puck. They have definitely dangerous ways of initiating. They have to respect this Templar Assassin, but you really don't have to commit that much when you're pushing a tower with Jakiro. Like, look, one hit, and suddenly the tower is down like 100 HP. Like, that is just ridiculous. Or 200 HP even. Era is completely spotted out, and Lions might not be inclined to go for this one as they want to defend their top tier 1. I really wouldn't put it past Lions to play this in a defensive fashion. That's kind of what they do like to do. But anyway, they're just going to get more and more farm. Faceless Void, not with the Hand of Midas, so I don't believe there are any Midases in this game. They're going to look to set up on Hawkeye, but this is going to be a very difficult kill to take. Oh, they catch him with the just straight Chronosphere. It's a lot easier if you could just do that. Time Walk into Chronosphere is actually a lot slower than just Chronosphere, believe it or not. And if somehow you have an angle for just a plain Chronosphere, then hell, you might as well go for it. Getting a pick off on the Puck. Not going to let Lions push right now as Commander. They are split pushing pretty decently, but they're going to force that Bland up to the high ground. Kikoni instantly into the meld. Now the damage drain onto Bland. Ice Path, though, is going to wall off everyone. Bland's going to get some forehand, though. Sonic Wave onto Poison and drop him very low. Bland's still alive. Not for very long, however. He's going to go down as Vengeful Spirit is going to be the trade. Queen of Pain, though, getting annihilated by the Templar Assassin. Set up for the Macropyre. Ice Path will be saved by Solon. Oh, Solon, what are you doing? Kikoni's going to pop the Refraction and be just fine. Here comes Era. Does not have a Chronosphere, though. Taking a lot of damage from Insolent. Has stolen 224. Era sees one more whip. He will backtrack it. And now Era, he's the last one alive for Lions. And he might get out of here alive, although he doesn't have a Time Walk available. Needs one more whip. There it is. It's a 5-man wipe in favor of Commanda. Solon, I don't think it mattered that he disrupted the Templar Assassin, but it definitely saved the Templar Assassin a lot of hassle there. It's 2,600 gold swing. It's a 6,000 experience increase for Commanda. Razor's going to be cashing in huge from that fight. And you can see the last hit chart. I mean, it's reflected in the net worth somewhat, although not as much. Commanda, though they did lose their Templar Assassin in the end, she does almost have a Desolator. They took a huge win there. There is no two ways about it. I mean, Lions without the Chronosphere, kind of getting poorly initiated upon, or initiating poorly, however you want to put it. Force staffing an Ogre up to the high ground is a very slow way of initiating, and especially when the Templar Assassin has Meld on the other end, it's probably not going to result into good things for your team. So it's a nice little win for Commanda. And now, well, they're going to look to smoke up. There it is. Who are they going to go for? Who's it going to be? They see the Faceless Void down on the bottom lane. I don't know if that's a viable kill for them to take, although they might be running into the Shadow Demon. Going for Roshan is perfectly viable as well with the Desolator minus armor. Templar Assassin doesn't really need that much help. Just a Wave of Terror is going to be fine. And there it is. Minus 16 armor. Roshan's dropping like a rock. Where are the Lions heroes? Do they know about this? It is a smoke into the pit, and it was not spotted. I don't think this Observer Ward spotted anything else either, but Kikoni, there is rotation incoming. They're smoked up, and they know exactly what's going on. Kikoni should know about what's going on as well, especially now with Pure Evil revealing it. It's going to be Lajons dead in an instant. He did not stand a chance. Koni's going to grab the Aegis. Now he's got to be careful, though. They stun up an illusion just to try to get Koni a little bit of space. They're going to jump forward, try to go for Solon. He's going to jump himself. Jakiro in this area is a really devastating hero if he get any skills off. So far, he hasn't. Insolent getting forced out, but a nice Sonic Wave to kill off the puck. Now Insolent taking quite a bit of damage, going to jump charge, but that won't do anything. Koni's going to lose his Aegis straight after, and he's completely surrounded right now. A Fire Blast is going to ensure his death. Maybe even Fire Blasting Poison, 2x, Macro Pyre, as well as Chronosphere onto that Templar Assassin. Now going to jump forward is Kicks for Poison. That's going to be a full 5-man wipe returned by Lajons after just previously having gotten wiped. Man, it's just trades upon trades after trades. Once again, it's Lajons this time that are going to be cashing in after the 5-man wipe. Commanda, they even lose the Aegis there. Yes, they take the gold and experience for Roshan, but that just isn't enough. When they get completely devastated like that, the difference between Lajons with a Chronosphere and without is night and day. Night and frickin' day, guys. They're going to push forward off of this. They have to start getting more towers with this Jakiro, otherwise Jakiro will eventually start to fall off, and, well, late game Jakiro is none too impressive. He still has quite a bit of time, especially after a fight like that. He will have so much space to just do pretty much whatever he wants. Mid lane pushes what he wants. Hawkeye's going to jump in for only 1-man coil. Set up now for an Ice Path by the Jakiro. He will catch 2. Here comes Ira. Doesn't have a Chronosphere, but Kix is going to jump in as well, killing off the puck in an instant. Swap out going to keep Insolent alive. Ira getting all of his damage drained out. Poison is going to survive for a little while longer, but it's still a couple of pickoffs in favor of Lajons. Actually, just one. Regardless, a kill is a kill, and now Solon fighting up against Pure Evil. He has one more poison thing to throw, but he will miss. 30 HP. Alotine might die to an earn charge. He will. Solon gets a solo kill. He's going to pay for it with his life, but now Koni going to get thrown up into the air. Yule, Scepter, Ice Path, Macro Pyre. His refraction charges are not going to last for very long. He's going to get beaten down in the fire, and Jonas and Van is going to take that kill. That's a 3-for-1 in favor of Lajons. Now a Blink Dagger on the Jakiro. Now they should definitely be going for pushing because they're just farming the Commander heroes at this point. They're so powerful with all their setup, especially in the Yule Scepter from Jakiro. Not even to mention the Chronosphere and the damage that Krix is able to put out. It's an insane tidal wave of advantage for Lajons right now, and the momentum is huge. They're going to jump forward for a terrible Chronosphere. Like, this is the most unhappy Chronosphere you're ever going to see. But hey, it gets them the tower, and Chronosphere will be up in another 100 seconds. It's not a big deal, guys. We're going to pretend that Chronosphere never happened, right? But, Scone Sphere? What does that even mean? What is a Scone Sphere? That has to be some sort of Euro thing that me being a stupid American is not going to understand. I know what a scone is. I know what a sphere is. I just don't know what they are together. If anyone can enlighten me as to what a Scone Sphere is, that would be fantastic, because I have no freaking clue. But either way, 23 for 9 right now, or 21 for 9, as there were previously hero denies and such. It's going to be Commander taking a tower, which is a nice little win for them. Yule Scepter now picked up from the Elder Titan. Infinite Mana is certainly very useful. Set up for a Stomp, I don't really know if that's the combination. Set up for an Earth Splitter is definitely a little bit more likely, but so far Pure Evil, his priority should just be surviving in these fights, because he's not supposed to be doing the damage. It's supposed to be mostly the Templar Assassin, to a lesser extent the Razor to do all of it, but Macropyre set up onto Kokomi, and the Macropyre is going to burn through his defensive charges in a hurry. Earth Splitter is going to come through. Ira going to get warded away because of it, popping the Mask of Madness just to book it. He's got to run, but they don't really invest too much. No Chronosphere used, not even available for the Lajons side. Using Macropyre setup is not really a huge deal, since Macropyre has a very low cooldown. Does do quite a bit of damage if you keep the enemies inside, but Ice Path not really going to be doing that just by itself. Regardless, we're almost at the 30-minute mark, and let's take a look at the graphs. It is, not surprisingly, a 4,000 plus advantage for Lajons, a little bit more than that in the experience. For Commanda, they're certainly not out of this game by any stretch. They have a Templar Assassin who is capable of just completely manhandling an entire game, plus an Elder Titan to support that. It is the Chronosphere and the constant disabling and nuking power of Lajons that they really have to be scared of, though. Queen of Pain is, kind of in the background. She does just mostly farm up, and now with an Aghanim Scepter, she'll be throwing out Sonic Waves and split pushing like nobody's business. It's something that Lajons do very well, just keeping the enemies out of their half of the base with split pushing and whatnot. With the Queen of Pain wielding a Sonic Wave on a, minute cooldown? 40-second cooldown? Yeah. She'll be able to literally spam that on every creep wave that is building up. Maybe not every creep wave, but mostly every creep wave. So Quick's going for that item. Now going to go for a sheep stick. So the Aghanim Scepter I'm usually on the fence about. If you're going to be pushed, yes, it's a very good item to have, but generally that's not the case. Force Staff, kind of the same thing. It's a good item, but are there better items? I'm not too sure. The better item that I would list right off the top of my head would be the sheep stick, and if he gets both, then he gets both, and it doesn't really matter in the end. But either way, Lions, it looks like they're going to set up for a push down mid. They don't have to worry about any side lanes pushing in, so that's very nice for this current status quo, and they will be able to just bulldoze their way through with the liquid fire. And the push is going to start. Commanda, they have a coil jump in. They have potentially good positioning if they rotate in from the bottom, but Lions are not working with much of a creep wave, and they have to go back to defend. Kikoni with another double damage rune is going to force Solon back. Kind of a bluff defense from Lions, but it's going to work, assuming they could actually get anything going. But just the Puck and the Elder Titan, they're preventing this entire push from going down. Even Elder Titan charging forward. This is, again, just a bluff from him. He doesn't have much backup nearby. It's going to be top side where they're in the most trouble. Jonas Fan has a Blink Dagger and a Yule Scepter, though. He should be able to survive unless he gets hit with the Plasma Field. Blink out from Jonas Fan. No, he's going to throw the Razor into the air. He needs to blink. There it is. Kix is also going to blink to the north. Razor, or not Razor, Jakiro. Ice Path TP. It's pretty slow. Coil. Coil. A little bit too slow from Hawkeye. I don't know if it was possible to get that kill or not. But anyway, Kikoni, he's just going to hide in the meld era. Already used the Chronosphere. Guys, you got to pack that True Sight. Elder Titan going to charge forward. Has a Spirit out. Not really going to be able to do that much. But this game is actually a lot more stalled out than I really thought. For Lions to have a Queen of Pain and Jakiro and not go for these huge direct pushes, I mean, sometimes you just don't have the openings to do so. Other times you just have openings, but you decide to go back and defend anyway. They have to go for these towers. They have to start thinking about how they're going to breach Rax's. Because Faceless Void, he's getting quite a bit of farm. But putting all your chips in this Faceless Void, I don't know, what do you put your chips on? Putting all your eggs in this Faceless Void basket is going to be a little bit risky. Templar Assassin is more than capable of dueling the Faceless Void and, killing him in a couple of hits. With the amount of burst damage TS is going to put out, now with the BKB in the pipeline for Kikoni, Lions might just be waiting a little bit too long. I mean, it is possible for them to just still go in and just straight push for Rax's. That might even be what we're going to see down the line. But it will be difficult for them to do it, more difficult, rather, the longer this game progresses. Especially when Roshan has the potential for respawning and for Commanda to very easily snag that one up with their amount of minus armor. Lions are playing a very delicate game by not going for any pushing. Jakiro is a core hero. His goal is to take down all the towers. And so far, you can see, he hasn't been doing it. The tower on top lane is actually perfectly healthy. So if Jakiro's not doing that, then what is he doing? Setting up for an Ice Path is nice and everything, but usually Ice Path doesn't hit more than 2 people. And if you're going to spend a hero pick in order to get a little bit of Ice Path stunning, then, I mean, that's not really worth it, is it? Just get a Sven. You could do the exact same thing with Stormhammer. So Jakiro is slowly falling off, and it's concerning for Lions to see them not actually go for any pushing right now. I mean, they have to go for these pushes, even just straight pushing down the mid lane. Droop up as 5, what's the worst that could happen? Meantime, Poison. Oh, this is something that's going to stop their push in their tracks. If they don't have the Queen of Pain's power with that push, then it's just not possible for them to get that to happen. But they're going to rotate everyone up to the top lane. Jakiro doesn't have any True Sight, and Poison's going to scout the rotation of Jakiro. Observer Wards from Commanda, going to spot all the movement as well. Plus Psionic Trap's going to spot a little bit of that. But it looks like Lions are going to look to go for the top lane push. Gem on Solon is going to clear out everything along the way. But now Commando, they're in a position where they have to fight or start split pushing or something. And I think it should be fight, and honestly, Lions could have done this such a long time ago. I mean, were trying to not lose any of their towers in the process, and that really didn't work either, since they're pretty much even with Commanda as far as towers are concerned. But here comes the Commanda wraparound. They have a Templar Assassin Razor leading the way. BKB up on the TA. Not really going to matter if he gets Chronosphere, and the smoke's going to be blown by Bland. Will throw out 1 Fire Blast. Yule Scepter onto the Templar Assassin. Chronosphere onto 3. Here's the Sonic Wave. Going to kill off Hawkeye and Razor in an instant. Kikoni's still alive. Poison gets swap out actually on the Razor, but it will not matter. Pure Evil going to get double multicasted down, and Kikoni's going to get bashed to death as well. Easy win for Lions. I mean, you can't always depend on the Chronosphere to land on 3 heroes, but still, Commanda just got absolutely thrashed right there. 3-man Chronosphere, and there's not much you could do about that. Lions are going to charge forward, and You know how I literally just said it's not impossible to see Lions take a team fight and then just go in and take Raxes? Well, this happened. This definitely happened, guys. Lions take a full 5-man team wipe, the second in a row, and just like that, they break the base wide open. Now, unfortunately for them, they have a tier 2 tower in the mid lane to worry about, so they can't go for a second set of Raxes. I don't think they would have been able to do it anyway. But hell, they cave out Raxes after a very convincing team fight. Ira, his Chronosphere combination with Quix's Sonic Wave. Again, it's just picture perfect. It doesn't get much better than that. Even with Bland getting quote-unquote initiated upon, he had the Item Scepter, so he is a very tanky hero with 1800 HP, 11 armor. He was able to turn things around and even throw out a couple of Fire Blasts before he went down, so nothing but wins there for Lions. And now, Commander, they're in suddenly a terrible position. Like, they were already in a less than ideal spot with a 4,000 disadvantage, but 4,000 all the way up to 10k, that's a pretty nice lead. I would be happy with that if I was Lions. And the same thing, or very similar thing rather, is going to be reflected in the experiences. Well, Lions are just going to take care once again of all their lanes, and bottom lane should be the priority for pushing right now. Oh, Kikoni. Oh, let it not be so. He has a BKB, doesn't have a TP out of this though. He's going to pop the BKB, try to charge forward for Solon, but a Chronosphere gets dropped from Ira. They're just going to turn around and right-click Kikoni. This is going to be the death of the Templar Assassin most likely, but she's still alive with the BKB. Gets swapped out by Poison Ira, dropping pretty low in the macro. Pyre is going to be dropping to the puck. Double Breathe Fire, though, onto the L time from Jakiro is going to get that kill in response, and they're still going to fight. Vengeful Spirit going to take a fall as well. Insolence on the high ground. Queen of Pain's dots will kill off the puck from very long ways away, where a puck got all the way over here before he died. But it's a 3-for-1. Losing Ira in exchange for that is once again so completely worth it for Lions. They're just pulling more and more ahead. Kikoni. Oh, that's a dangerous situation. Templar Assassin survived, I guess. BKB. Preventing most of the damage from Lions. Even the damage from Faceless Void is, for the most part, magical with his Maelstrom. So if you're able to block all of that, then you're going to get so much more time to just, escape or do whatever. And it was enough time for the Templar Assassin to live, but the rest of her allies, definitely not as lucky. They're even going to look to set up on the bottom lane. Insolent might be a little bit too much so. He's going to get Sonic Waved. Force that forward from Kicks. Going to land this Shadow Strike. Needs a disruption. There it is. I think Razor's just dead now. They have a Demonic Purge just for good measure. Insolent going to steal some damage. He's going to pop the ultimate, but he was already dead. Shadow Demon going to take that one home, and Commander just bleeding heroes right now. Tier 2 tower is now going to take a fall. Now the Raxes are wide open. Kikoni going to try to sneak a Roshan through all of this. It's certainly going to be helpful, though it's not impossible for Lions to check this. Oh no! Solon, not this way! No, you're going the wrong way, Solon! Solon, if you're right near the Roshan pit as Shadow Demon, you might as well check it. It doesn't cost you anything. 50 mana, that's not a big deal. And now suddenly he knows that, oh shit, there's an Aegis that Templar Assassin just took, and I could have stopped her. Poor Solon. He's going to get the disruption and poison and everything like that, but who cares? I mean, Templar Assassin already got what you want, unless the Shadow Demon really wants to go in on this. Probably not a good idea. Lions end up giving away Roshan because Solon, I guess, didn't have the Roshan timer correctly or something, but yeah, that could have been very easily the Templar Assassin stopped in her tracks. Even if the Shadow Poison came through, like, Shadow Demon probably couldn't have killed off the TA, just it would have made the TA scared out of her mind. It's like, oh shit, well, there's a Shadow Demon here, that probably means there's an Ogre Magi here, that probably means I have to get the hell out. And it would have been Roshan held for the very least. But instead, it's a double life for TA. That might delay the push a little bit from Lions, but, I mean, they're looking to be in such a fantastic position right now. I don't really know what they should be waiting for. Assault Cuirass on Ira is going to make pushing that much easier, so maybe that's worthwhile. Everyone else, though, not as much. Shiva's Guard and the Jakiro, and he's not going to have another Leap of Power for a very long time. There was a Maelstrom. Yeah, there is a Maelstrom. Okay, I'm like, inventory. Where? What? It was in her stash. But no, Maelstrom now being picked up from the Queen of Pain, so even she's doing quite a bit of right-click damage. Again, it's all about putting damage into that Chronosphere, and, any right-click item is going to do it, but, Maelstrom is a cost-effective way of doing it. Ira, now with the Assault Cuirass completed, should be making a beeline down for the bottom lane. There are no more huge leaps of power for the Lion heroes, aside from just, very linear item buildup. So they should be looking to go for the second set of Raxes and hopefully not get completely demolished. There is a smoke up from the Commander side. as they're looking for blood right now. Templar Assassin leading the way with quite a bit of movement speed. Might catch a Shadow Demon right now, but this is a Shadow Demon with a Force Staff. He does have Ogre Magi right next to him as well. They're going to have to drop a coil if they want to kill off Solon in a reliable fashion. They will do so, and Solon will take a fall right now. Can't do anything. He will drop the gem as well. It's Lions kind of just scattering themselves, and this is something I actually see quite a bit from Lions. Like, they love the split push. They love to extend the game. As a caster, it's a pain in the ass just because, I have to sit here for longer when the game is currently looking so overwhelmingly in Lions' position. But they also just love the split push, and that means they put many heroes in many different places, which generally means that those heroes tend to get picked off more, which of course means it slows down the potential push power from Lions. So that ends up happening, and now we're in a spot where we just have to farm a little bit more, wait for the Shadow Demon to get back up alive, and Command to have a little bit more space to get their items up. But really, what are they farming for? I mean, Templar Assassin has a BKB completed, Manta Style in the Pipeworks, potentially with that Yasha, or maybe he's just going to sell the Yasha for something a little bit bigger. Either way, there are big items coming up for this Templar Assassin. Razor has only a BKB, though. This guy is mad poor. Sitting right in the middle of the net worth chart. BKB is nice on the Razor, but I mean, you need a little bit more threat on this guy. Otherwise, for the most part, Lions just going to either blow him up in the duration of a Chronosphere or just completely ignore him. Or, kind of ignore him. Throw him up in the air with the Eul Scepter or something like that. Either way, Lions are just going to split push. Are they really just going to split push? You have a Jakiro, guys. Like, this is a pretty clear course of action. Go down to the bottom lane and just kill things. Right? Am I wrong in saying that? I might just be completely wrong. But I feel like Commanda, though they do have a decent amount of teamfight power, it doesn't have to be Lions resorting to split pushing. And yes, I am going to say resorting to split pushing just because they can just go and win. Or force a fight. And it might not win them the game outright, but it will certainly give them a lot more advantage moving forward. So that later on they get split push. Because that's how Lions roll. That's how they always roll, guys. I mean, Kikoni Insolent going to rotate upwards, and we do see Jonas and Fan in a very awkward position right now. This is what happens when you split push too much. You end up getting put into these situations where it's very awkward, although... Puck, we gotta talk a minute about how to use Eul Scepter. See, you click the item, right? You go over here and you press it, and then you click the enemy. Yeah, I understand. He double tapped it, and he ended up casting on himself, but Jakiro miraculously gets to survive from that. Honestly, that was not supposed to happen there from Commanda, but they end up getting the Jakiro a free pass out. That's going to not delay the push. It's actually going to be a pretty large green light for Lions to go for it. And now double damage rune. Oh, hell yeah. Lions, their eyes are going to light up when they see that, because if that doesn't spell push, then I don't know what does. They're all smoked up, and they want to get a pick-off beforehand, and that pick-off might just be pure evil. Force Staff into a 2x multicast. They have a runner find if they need it, but they don't. He's already dead. They're looking for a little bit more. Disruption from Shadow Demon can get this kill onto Kikoni. They're going to blink forward. Sonic Wave going to be not used just yet, but Eul Scepter and Chronosphere onto 2. Poison and Kikoni are going to take a very quick fall. Hawkeye in the back line will land a nice coil, but he's going to very quickly pay for his insolence, who, by the way, is also going down. That's 2 buybacks in a row, and Kikoni's just going to call it GG from the Commanda side. Lions are going to take this game. All it took was just a convincing team fight. Need that initiation from Bland. Force Staff Ogre, a slow way of initiating, but a hell of a good one. Thanks for watching, guys. This is going to be the end of game number 1 between Lions and Commanda. Game number 2 is going to come up in just a little while, guys, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for that. I'm Mike Loris. I will be back for game 2 in just a little bit.